Arsenal are in a position that nobody expected. Look, before the season started, everyone had hope and aspirations. And I'm not even talking about just Arsenal, by the way. Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United all had hopes and dreams, but it doesn't take long before reality starts crashing down on you. You ask Chelsea fans before the season started, they would have said, we hope this season we can push for a title chance. Man United were saying we will be in and around the top four and there might be an outside chance where we can actually compete for the league. But it doesn't happen. And if you look at Arsenal, we're probably one of the only big teams that are overachieving this season in terms of where people thought we would be at this point of the season due to the terrible run of fixtures Arsenal had early on. We had some of the most difficult games and people were saying after the first 6 games, Arsenal will probably be chasing the league leaders, Liverpool. You've got other teams who are overachieving as well, by the way. You've got teams like Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, even Sunderland are performing better than most people expected. But the teams like Liverpool, teams like Man City are probably not at the level that most people expected. And that is a positive for Arsenal. Because maybe this is the opportunity for Arsenal to really capitalise and make this their season. If you look at that first run of fixtures that Arsenal had, I mean, it was death row out there. You've got Man United away, we had Liverpool away, Man City, Newcastle, West Ham, and people will be talking like, what are you talking about? It's just West Ham. But we've lost to them at home for the past 2 seasons. We lost to Newcastle away last season. So again, those are 2 examples of Arsenal picking up points from teams that they lost points to last season. So automatically this season, it's looking like you are massively improved. And that's what we need to keep on doing. You just look at our next run of fixtures now, and I'm seeing Liverpool fans, and I'm speaking to Liverpool fans. My best friends are Liverpool fans, and they're panicking. They're saying it's so unfair. Look at Liverpool's next set of fixtures and look at Arsenal. You guys have got it easy. And I'm literally just like, have you lot not been aware for the past 6 games that Arsenal have had a terrible run of fixtures? It's only now because you're noticing that Arsenal are still in first position and we now have a slightly easier run of fixtures. Again, it's still the Premier League. I understand absolutely anything can happen. But you're looking at your next set of fixtures and you're playing teams like we did in the first 6. And because your performances aren't up to the level, you're starting to panic a little bit because there is a reality where Arsenal can run away with it. Look, I'm not getting ahead of myself here. I'm just having an honest discussion with you guys and saying we are in a position where most people didn't expect us to be in. They expected us to be lingering, fighting for the 4th spot after them first 6 games. And this is where I will ask you guys a question. Are Arsenal now favourites to win the Premier League? Look, we're listening to the media and the bookmakers who are coming out constantly and saying Arsenal shouldn't lose from this position. And I don't buy into that because I look at it and I say, if we're being realistic, we're 1 point ahead. And in the Premier League, you're only ever 2 games away from a crisis. What I mean by that is, if Arsenal lose the next 2 games and Liverpool win the next 2 games, all of a sudden it's a crisis again. And you'll see the toxicity circulating within the fan base again because that's how quick football changes. Liverpool have lost the last 3 games. Look at the headlines in the media. Is Arne Slot the right guy? Look at the Liverpool creators, the big ones who are questioning not only the decisions, but the appointment of the Liverpool manager. This is after the guy came in last season and won the Premier League in his first ever season. And this isn't me talking up Arne Slot because I don't think tactically he is as good as Mikel Arteta. Now, people will always question that, but that's just an opinion. Everybody has one. But Arsenal are in such a good position. Mainly Arsenal are relying on that defence and people get frustrated with that. But there are signs, we've spoken about the signs recently, where it seems like Mikel Arteta is looking to open up and play a more expansive, fluid brand of football. But what you can't get away from is just how good Arsenal's defensive is. Arsenal have got the best defence in Europe. You look at some of them players. I mean, players like Raya, again, a world-class keeper. Timber, most people at this point would probably put Timber as the best right-back in the league. That's not controversial whatsoever. Timber's the best right-back in the Premier League, right? And then you've got Gabriel and Saliba, the best centre-back partnership in world football, in my opinion. Someone might have something else. And this isn't even me talking in a biased way. No one can even point a finger at me and saying you're being biased. What are you talking about best in the world? Timber's one of the best. Saliba and Gabriel are one of the best. Now, there's always going to be discussion if you're looking for person. If you're building the ultimate Premier League 11, then maybe you might have Van Dijk instead of Saliba. But Jurrien Timber gets in. Gabriel gets in. Most people would have Raya in. It's just so encouraging to have such a strong defence, because it's something that is different for Arsenal. Not for many, many years have Arsenal been looked at as the most defensively sound team in the Premier League. It's always been Arsenal have had that creativity, have had that flair, have had that something different, beautiful, elegant players like Dennis Bergkamp, even Thierry Henry, who had that ruggedness, but if you just look at him, you just see elegance personified. Robert Pires, Freddie Ljungberg, beautiful football players. But to have players like Gabriel, who are dirty, who are nasty in the most graceful way though, because he can play football. He's a leader of men. Having players, having characters like this is why most people are looking at Arsenal and saying, this team has all the right ingredients. This team, at the moment, is the best in the Premier League. And that's what we need to do. We need to get that defensive structure that what we're so strong at and pair it with that creativity in those forward areas. It's such a shame we didn't get to see Eza and Odegaard in that last game. I mean, I've said this to you guys for, I don't know what, 3 or 4 weeks. I've been saying I want to see these two guys together. And that was the moment. It was almost like Mikel Arteta had been listening to the videos, because we had had conversations about playing Declan Rice in that sole number 6 position and then playing the two more attack-minded players together. We saw it in the last game, but it only lasted about 15, 20 minutes because Martin Odegaard come off injured. Now, since I've done the last video, it's come out that the rumours of Martin Odegaard having an MCL are unfortunately true. The only thing we don't know yet is what grade it is. And what grade it is will depend on the length that Martin Odegaard will miss for the season. It could either be kind of 3 to 4 weeks, or it could be 3 to 4 months, 2 to 3 months, which is obviously going to be a nightmare. The only saving grace is, and we've said this before, the strength in depth that Arsenal had. Now, at the same time, you do need to be careful, because we can't have any more injuries to this Arsenal squad. You just look at some of the players Arsenal are missing. They are players that get into most of these teams who are fighting for the top 4. They would get into their starting lineup. Players like Kai Havertz, and people would laugh at that, but he's a brilliant football player. Since the last couple of seasons, his form has been undeniable. Players like Gabriel Jesus. I mean, there's so many players Arsenal have got on that injury bench. When they come back into this Arsenal team, I don't know how everybody fits in. But that's a good thing to have for the manager. Is he going to be able to keep everyone happy? No. I guess the only thing you could look at and say, well, it's probably not going to happen, because it seems like we get players back from injury, then all of a sudden it's a tag team. They tag out, someone else tags in. Just like Bukayo Saka, he come back, Noni Madueke was like, right, you're back, now I'm out for a couple of months. And hopefully that doesn't continue throughout the season. Again, Arsenal are in a privileged position where they do now have so many good players in most positions. If you look at teams around the league, Arsenal do have the most injuries. That will balance out at some point. That's not going to be an ongoing thing. I just think Arsenal are in such a bad spot of luck at the minute with injuries, and other teams will get that. If Liverpool have as many injuries to their key players as Arsenal do, there is no way they keep in touch of this Premier League title race. And I'm calling it now because I'm expecting it to happen at some point. And then we already know what the conversations are going to be. Well, you've only won the league because Liverpool had injuries. You only won the league because Man City had injuries. And then I would just say to you, look at the past 2 or 3 seasons. Arsenal have had the highest injury record in the whole Premier League, but you don't want to discount your title that you won when Arsenal had injuries. So just get ready for those type of conversations, because as Arsenal fans, you already know they're going to happen. So I'm hoping the injuries stop. We have all of these players available, and we just continue to keep grinding out these results, because Arsenal are doing something special this season. Again, I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm just saying how I genuinely feel. I'm seeing a real gap, a real, I don't know, pathway for Arsenal to actually do something special this season. You're seeing it in the Champions League. Arsenal, we all know, haven't won the Champions League. But there's stats out there from Opta, and they're saying Arsenal are the favourites to win the Champions League. This isn't by coincidence. It's because they understand Arsenal have the strongest strength in depth. They have a fantastic first team, and against the opinion of some other people, they have a brilliant coach in Mikel Arteta. We just need to keep on keeping on, and let's see where this season takes us. Let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could do me a quick favour, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.